Hey guys, welcome back to Stuff and Things. On today's episode, I'm going to go into a little bit details about things that are happening in the Arctic. Of course, Canada does own the Arctic, no matter what anyone else says, and so it's a little special place in our hearts. Over the last few years, there has been an increasing interest in the Arctic regions, specifically with Canada, and through us, America, and Russia, because, Russia. But unfortunately, the Great White North has been looking a little less white as the years go by. A photograph has been circulating of a melt pond on the North Pole. One of the coldest places on Earth is melting. Of course, this isn't really too much to worry about. Even in recent memory, there has been melt ponds accumulating in the North Pole, and they've been bigger. So that singleness isn't too much to worry about. But along with that, there has been less and less ice flows flowing throughout the oceans. Even though people will say the Antarctic has been, getting colder and colder, and more ice is built up there, it's not enough to balance it out. There has been a statistical drop going to a low end. Not quite as bad as last year, but things are looking a little grim for ice flows across the world. But that shouldn't even be our biggest concern. That's actually just showing us that things are even going to get even worse. Because the biggest consequence of the Arctic melting is actually the release of methane gases. Quick little ecology lesson. Everyone knows that CO2 has been a contributing factor to global warming. Methane gas, according to the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency of America. Methane gas itself is about 20 times more powerful of a greenhouse gas than CO2. And when we start talking about gigatons of gas being released, we're talking about some serious business. A new study recently published in the journal Nature details the estimated costs of all of the methane gas being released in the Arctic region. That's including the permafrost melting and the ice flows retreating and then allowing gas to bubble up from the ocean because, just lots of animal life has died there over the centuries. When the estimated cost, you might ask, is upwards to $60 trillion. And most of this cost would actually come to the developing countries. The guys who are, trying to develop their economies. So they definitely can't afford that. But you could say this is all part of perspective. When business people and governments look at the Arctic melting, they actually see all the pluses, and there are some. We're looking at all the harvestable gas. Obviously, I'm talking about gas that is existing right there right now. We could actually harvest it. There's a bunch of natural gas to heat homes and provide electricity. Along with that, vast oil reserves that are completely untapped. North of Siberia and the oceans there are a ton of oil reserves that they just want to get at. And the best part is getting rid of all that ice leaves up whole new trade routes. The Northwest Passage would actually be viable. Canada and Russia would be vying for trade routes. We'd have new pirate stuff going on, I'm sure. Canadian pirates versus Russian pirates. Who'd win? Unfortunately, the study did take this into account, and the cons far outweigh the pros on this one. Now, I could spend hours rambling on about how our current economic model is completely messing up our ecology, and it's kind of like destroying our ability to live on this planet. If you really want to do that, you can check out YouTube. It's like probably the most talked about thing on YouTube is the whole climate change thing. It's kind of ridiculous, but I will state it quite simply for you guys. That $16 trillion price tag that's put on the Arctic melts there, that's our GDP. Our gross domestic product. Not Canada's, not US's, that's the world's gross domestic product. So to make up for the Arctic melting over 10 years, we would all have to work a year and get nothing in return to pay for that. Can you imagine that? Working a year, getting no reward? No, nobody could do that. We cannot live through that. Even if we switch it over 10 years, that's like a month. Who could just work for a month and get no reward from it? No one could do that. The unfortunate thing is, with the whole greenhouse thing, it does tend to snowball. So it might just end up happening without us having, no direct control. We've already done it. The damage might already be done, and we just have to live with the consequences. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but this is just how things are, and we have to do what we can to fix it. I don't know what the answers are, but hopefully somebody can actually provide some insights to this. I'd actually really love to know anybody's ideas on ways to get around this. If we can just live with it and it'll be okay. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you'd like what you've seen, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons wherever they may happen to be. And hopefully when we check in the next video, it won't be as depressing. No promises though.